Hey friends, hey family, hey loved ones. Happy October. I thought I'd pop on for just a few minutes and just share a few things. I attempted a video on October 1st because I had some things to share and say, and really it was for me. And I kind of told myself that, like, it doesn't really matter if I end up sharing this or not. Like, it is really for me. So it was like some stuff that I felt like I needed to speak out or draw out of myself, like because there were some things that were percolating and kind of emerging from my subconscious, but then resubmerging. And so it was an interesting little thing. And then, yeah, I got the video done. It was like an hour and 8 minutes, and there was no sound. So it was just like, oh, when I, realized that, I was just kind of like, oh, well, that didn't work out. That's okay. And it wasn't like I was super bummed like I have been before, like spending an hour talking and then there's nothing, But I didn't feel that. I felt like it was, something I needed to do. And if it just went into the ethers, that was okay too. And it did give me some threads to follow, and it planted some seeds, and like continuing like certain streams, like, yeah, these last couple days. And so just getting a little more clarity and also feeling confused and letting them both exist and letting them both have their place. And so that's just the way it is. Yeah. So I've been feeling like kind of tired this week and just kind of detached. Yeah. And it's all right too. It's like letting and allowing, like letting it all be and allowing like each moment to be free and to move freely. And so, yeah, I made some choices this week, listening to my body. And yeah, there's some weird aches and pains happening. Like this morning, I had like my I guess just my mid left side of my back. Like there was a muscle that was like really, really, really super tight and knotted. And that's kind of unusual for my mid back to be like bothersome for me. And yeah, it was just like this left side of it was just really, really achy and felt so tense. And I was just, oh, I can just relax. I can breathe and I can let go. And it's just like, yeah, my left side of my neck was hurting a little bit as well, like a couple days ago. And my right elbow has been like really, really bothering me. So I just felt like, oh, well, maybe it's time to have a conversation with my body and ask, ask how I can support my body as my body knows what it needs. And yeah, just not judging it as a wrong thing, but saying, oh, thank you. Thank you. And so earlier this morning, my husband offered to give me a little massage and kind of rub out those knots and that tension and stuff. And that was really, really nice. And actually like kind of felt some stuff well up. I was just like, okay, I'm going to cry a little bit, but it's not for like any specific reason. So I just kind of let the tears come, and it just, a couple fell. And yeah, it was good. Like just gave myself like that permission to like releasing that tension. And yeah, just being with it. And then my back was totally better. It felt so much better. And so did my neck. And also like I kind of had a little migraine yesterday, and I woke up with it as well. And kind of had that for half the day, but it's gone now. So yeah, it's like not judging it as a bad thing or an inconvenient thing, just kind of telling my body, okay, thank you. I will honor like the feelings and the messages and the signals that I'm feeling and that I'm receiving. And so I'll just like love myself and send myself love and So just remembering just to relax and like just breathe and breathe through it and all those things. And yeah, I have been breathing a little more consciously. Yesterday, I kind of felt a little bit short of breath, and I would just slow down my breath and just take in like very like slow, deep breaths until I felt like more centered and things. So that was super helpful. And also decided to go to bed last night when I felt tired and just like give myself permission, like and not be attached to anything else like that I felt like I wanted to do. And got some good sleep, so that was awesome. And then I spontaneously um, got to watch my granddaughter today and got to see her, and I wasn't expecting that. So that was fun to be with her today for a couple hours and spend some time with my little sweet pea. And just love being with her. And it's just so amazing, like playing this role of grandmother and nurturer. And I just love the children. Love the kids so much. Love their sweet innocence and their bright spirits. And just how beautiful and sweet and innocent. Yeah, just precious. How precious they are. And especially like since she's blood of my blood and yeah, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And it's like the best thing in the world to love her and to hold her and to watch her grow and just to be with her, just to enjoy her. And so, yeah, there's so many things like we've been feeling a little emotional and just realized, like that is the most beautiful thing. I feel like, yeah, it was last week when I was watching her and I was rocking her in the rocking chair and she fell asleep and she cuddled into my neck and my shoulder. And I was like, yeah, this is what life is for. So the beloved can be with the beloved, So love can be with itself. So love can love itself. Yeah. Through all these relationships, share this love and this joy that we have within us. Yeah, with ourselves and each other. And just so grateful for all those beautiful gifts in my life, like all this love there is to be and to receive and to give and to share. Yeah, and to free, like to enjoy and to appreciate and to value. And what else can I share today about some of these changes and things? Oh, yes. So it's October 3rd. And on October 1st, it was my 2-year anniversary from leaving Facebook. And that was like a really huge deal for me. Like that was a huge, huge thing. Maybe it doesn't seem like it would be a hard thing to do, but I had been on that that platform and that vortex of time suck for 10 years. And it was like kind of a crutch and it was an addiction. And I mean, there was really good things about it, but there was things that really weren't working for me anymore. And there was so much noise and so much just distractions, really, that it was something I was guided to do. And I'm really, really glad that I did. It was at the time I was like really ready to just throw in the towel and say, okay, goodbye forever. But then like a couple weeks passed. I don't know. I might just give it a couple months, maybe 6 months and go back to it. But no, it was just like all this time got freed up and was able to go within myself and develop and cultivate relationships with those people in my life that were available for me. And it actually served me a whole lot to choose that for me. Because, I mean, yeah, it's fun to talk with people online and like really keep it, casual and just, like social, like to have like some kind of social um, social, I guess, outlet. And, but it really wasn't working for me, and it really wasn't contributing to any intimacy that I really desired in my life. And like, it was far and few between with the people I interacted with on Facebook. Like, there was a lot of love shared and a lot of good things, but it was really taking away a lot. It was really draining my energy. And so, yeah, I've been able to like clear a lot of space for a lot of creative things and for a lot of creativity and for what I really needed for my well-being. And so, yeah, it's been interesting. There's certain things I miss about it, but I know I made the right choice and I feel very good about it and very well. And so, yeah, the last couple months I have been, I guess, catching myself or becoming aware of when I go back into certain memories or into certain stories of certain interactions or certain maybe even misperceptions of like looking at some of those exchanges with others that weren't really that comfortable or I had judged as um, maybe a little bit painful, and just, yeah, kind of felt like a train wreck in a way. And so, yeah, a couple days ago, I was just like thinking, that's interesting. It's like my cutout self, my cutoff self wants to keep grasping onto stuff and hashing over it or rehashing over it because it doesn't feel like resolved in some area. And so like kind of feeling like guilt and shame, some of that for some of the things that like some of the exchanges that happened that didn't feel very pretty or didn't feel very honoring or just kind of they weren't very nice, I guess. But they were true and they were authentic. And so just kind of looking at like the stories when they come up or this version of a memory that isn't really an accurate assessment. It's just like it focuses or hyper focuses on just certain things. And on what was wrong about it or what didn't feel good about it, or maybe even like the things that made me feel wrong or made me choose to see the other as wrong and up in the night and all of that. And like defend against like that argument or that perception again and again and again. Like, don't see me as that. Don't see me as this. So what I got from that too is it was a strategy or a a mechanism of justification. Yeah. And what the agenda behind it was I wanted to be seen as good and I wanted to be seen as right. And so I've been aware of those, yeah, of those agendas, those ego agendas, like, but it's just like, why am I still like looping into that? Like, what's that about? Because I've told myself I no longer need to be seen as right. I no longer need to be seen as good or good enough because I know that I am. And so like with my whole identity of being part of the whole, a greater, a whole that is part of the greater whole. Like I can let that stuff go. But there is still like some kind of hooks and pulls that was pulling my lower mind or my little self back into that little hamster wheel. And so how I've been able to shift that and turn that around was in some things that I saw quite clearly. And what it was may they receive and perceive whatever they need for their greatest growth and their well-being. May they see all they need to see. They don't have to see me in a certain light or in a certain way. We'll just let it be however they see. I cannot know like how they're going to perceive, see, or receive it. And even if like I could, like it's not up to me to manipulate like their perception or manage their perception. And I've known that for a long, long time. It was like one of my old like super cock blocks that would prevent me from really showing up and being authentic because I wanted to be seen as good, or I wanted to look good, I guess, in their eyes. And I've been seeing into this mechanism for a while now, and I've been seeing certain things that are helping me connect the dots, like the puzzles are actually falling into place, and seeing where this mechanism comes from, or this misperception, or this distortion. And it relates to something called audience capture. And so it's like this false superimposed lens that I would flip back and forth to. And it was a totally concocted, constructed lens of something that happened automatically that I would slide into. It was so fast, like it's totally an unconscious thing, but I could notice it while it was happening, and I was just like, okay, I don't really know what this is. And my thoughts about it were, oh, this is like a super ego kind of a thing, where it's like my tyrant guard, like it's like scanning everything and judging everything so that I can defend against something, so that I can act or preemptively act before I'm rejected, or like kind of stay on top with like certain predictability of, is this okay to say to them? Are they, those kinds of things. What will they think about me? And so it was like kind of assumptions about like what their core values are, their core beliefs are, their opinions, like their assumptions, their views of the world and all of that. And it's really, not like an image of them. It's a false image of them and what I believed they were seeing or receiving from like all that data that was collected. But how can I even assume like how they're going to receive something? And if it's all based on assumptions, And so I don't know if any of this makes sense at all. But just seeing into it a little bit more, there was a video I watched maybe last month, and it was called Audience Capture. And it explains perfectly the lens that I would flip into. And I also feel like other people could relate to this. And I've heard it like described as infiltration of the third eye, or the hijacking of the mind and all of that as well. So like there's some kind of interference, or it's like just some kind of programming in a way, like to keep us like in our own like distortions of ourselves and judgments of ourselves and others. So maybe a little bit more will become clear and come through on that. But yeah, it's been interesting to like kind of unravel and see some of these things. It really feels good though to just like ask for that, like instead of like asking like, can they see me as right? Will they see me as right? And that's like something that requires so much energy because it's a continuous thing. Um, it's like something I feel like I've had to maintain, and now I don't need to use my energy on that anymore. So it frees up a lot of energy where I don't need to like worry about that or stress about that anymore. Like really, I don't. And so, because I know that I accept myself, and so I don't really require that acceptance from the outside of me. So I wanted to share a few things. I started a new journal on October 1st. And there is a couple things that good questions that have been coming up. Like, who would you be if you stopped playing the role of the savior, the martyr, the hero, the caregiver, the guru, the saint, atlas, or the glue, the sensitive empath, the good girl that holds others, sometimes out of love. Sometimes, it was always like loving, but it wasn't really based in love. It was based in fear. It was fear-based. It was a fear-based strategy so that I could please someone else or hold something else for them so they didn't hurt me, reject me, abandon me, get mad at me, or blame me for something, scapegoat me. And so I realized, how I was using my energy to maintain all of these myth stories and strategies. So, my like default settings were freeze, fawn, people please, and avoid. So I'm also reminded about something I read a few months ago from the Christ Blueprint about feeling furious with others for the lies that we were all forced to enact, but feeling so furious about the lies I was forced to enact, embody, or play at, or play out, act out. So, like, protecting myself, playing small and safe in the uncomfortable comfort zone, carrying others' garbage or bullshit or power or pain for them, and playing into their stories, roles, identities, and collaborating with them in enabling them to stay the victim. And who knows, maybe that was like a need for my small self to be needed, So I want people to thrive and I want people to do well, but I can let that go as well. I can detach from that and let them have their bottom. Let them have what they need. Let them have all of their lessons and for their greatest learning and growth. And there's also this poem that was perfect a couple weeks ago. Basically, it was like, I don't need you to save me. I don't need you to fix me. I don't need you to carry anything for me. But would you sit with me while I cry and I grieve? And would you just hold my hand? And so it's like, oh, yeah. That's really what's being asked here, to have that compassion and that presence, not to fix anything for anyone, not to take it away from them, but just to be with them. And so like just being with myself as well in those ways and allowing myself to go through like this grieving that I've been going through. I have been crying a little bit. There's been some things that are just ready to be released. And really, it's just like kind of allowing that without telling myself any stories or getting pulled into any judgments about anything. And just having that compassion and that love and allowance and acceptance of what is right now. And then letting it move and letting it change. Or just letting it be. And then it can change and it can move. And so check your reality assessment skills and your quantum hearing. My ability to respond and know through the space of not knowing, suspension and 0 point energy. And so one of the things that I had read, I think it was in the Christ Blueprint, and it was about false humility and false pride. And that I really took that to heart and looking into those things more deeply. And I have written a little bit about those things, and I see where I had been playing into a lot of those things and being unaware of some of those patterns. And so really pretending that I don't know when I really do, and pretending that I know when I really don't. It's the overcompensation, insecurity, fear, anxiety relates to inferiority and superiority complexes, which that's really awesome theme to work with the last couple months, and be going into that a little more deeply because there's some things that are ready to be seen now. And I've seen a lot about some of those distortions and some of those programs. And so it's really, really cool actually to start getting down to the meat of it and all that. And so maybe I'll share that about like what I've seen about superiority and inferiority, because I was just starting to get into a lot of that yesterday, and be continuing with that, and willing to receive more insights. So some of the archetypes that have been at play lately: the rebel, the good girl, the whore, the beggar, the martyr, the miser, mother superior, the victim, the saboteur. And looking into like a lot of things that I really felt like I have not been able to talk about, or maybe just been avoiding going there because I'm not sure how to talk about it. And it has to do with life force energy and sexuality. And some of these disempowering programs that contribute to sexual misery and to abuse and to trauma and all of those things. And so I have heard other speakers eloquently talk about some of these things, and I'm gonna ask for help to just share some personal experiences this month about what I've learned and about observing certain things. And guess we'll just see where that leads. So it's all about feminine power and misdirected and suppressed or leaking energy, and ignoring the body and treating it like a slave and a dumb animal. Forcing it like to comply to different things when it really doesn't serve well-being. So certain things are emerging from my subconscious and resubmerging until I make the space for it to come in again through letting go. I'm wondering about asking my body some things and making the space to receive the messages of wisdom and truth, clarity, without the need to fix, manipulate, or twist anything or make it into something pleasing or something it's not. So I'm willing to take accountability. So accountability, willingness, compassion, and empowerment through forgiveness. So I really enjoyed like everything that I've received this last week. And even though like it hasn't like all been my preference and everything, I'm really, really super grateful. I'm really, really grateful. And even when like some of the old uncomfortable stuff is coming up lately, I'm just like, oh, thank you. Thanks for this practice. You know, thanks for this. Thank you for letting me know. You know, thank you for letting me know myself. And thank you for helping me see what is me and what is not. And so reclaiming innocence in a lot of ways, that innocence, because I have like been shedding a lot of guilt and shame for responsibilities I no longer need to carry. And that feels a lot lighter. And it feels true. So, yeah, there's been some grief coming up. So I think I heard something about that. Like when we're going through our, sadness or grief, that means there's a new part of ourself that wants to be born or be integrated and come through. Something new wants to come through. And I super appreciate like this process and like all of my energy and my emotions that are available to me, all the gifts of love that I can draw on and draw forth, to bring forth through me. If you bring that forth, if you bring what is within you, what is that quote? It was in the Gospel of Thomas. If you bring forth that which is in you, that which is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will destroy you. And so kind of seeing into more layers or the wisdom of that. And I hope you're all doing well and be in love for yourselves. Wishing you well and thanking you, blessing you, praising you for all your love and all of you, for all your beauty and all you get to choose. So thanks for being here and playing a part in this whole and being your whole self as you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.